Ahsoka Episode 8 reaction. What are my thoughts on this Disney Star Wars disaster? And I'm going to call it a disaster from my point of view. Before I begin, I want to quote Scott Adams. He's the author of Dilbert. He's written some books too. Now, in a two-book series, the first book was called God's Debris, and the second book is called The Religion War. At the start of God's Debris, he raises a question. How do I, a mere mortal who is certainly not the smartest man in the world, write the smartest man in the world? How do I do that? And then that raises another limiting thing that all writers have to deal with. You cannot write a character smarter than yourself. Someone else could write a character smarter than you, but you can't write one smarter than yourself. If you will not see a method out of a problem, then your character can't see the method out of the problem. And this is what we get in the Ahsoka series. And I'm assuming also with Thrawn here. From what I've been told, and I've not seen the cartoons, and I've not read the Thrawn books, but Thrawn is an absolute master at getting out of things, and he's got plans and backup plans and backup plans and backup plans. And all of these backup plans always have him winning. And I'm pretty sure the original author probably took a leaf out of the book from the movie The Heist with Gene Hackman, where he's like got plans D, E, and F ready to go, which always means he's more than one step ahead. And I've said it previously that Thrawn is being shown to be dumb. And I'll say it again here, straight off the bat. They are on the ground. He has air support. Now, it could be said, he doesn't care about them, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. But he then also says never underestimate a soul Jedi. And yet here he's got 2.5 of them. And he's still like, oh, it's okay, we'll just leave. But you just said don't underestimate them, and now you're underestimating them. They're on the ground, they can't fly. Well, as far as you knew. You sent 2 TIE fighters out to get them. If you'd sent 4, if you'd sent 6, then all the problems you had after wouldn't have happened. You could have just blown them out of the way on the ground because your TIE fighters are in the air. Her ship goes down. Ahsoka's ship goes down with 2 TIE fighters. But somehow a burst of power. And the damn TIE fighter pilot, he's got enough time to put his arms up and go, oh my God. Well, if he's got enough time to do that, he's got enough time to move the TIE fighter out of the way. He's got enough time to, whatever. It's just the maximum plot armor for the damn heroes. That Thrawn is such an incompetent dickhead. He can't send more than 2 things out just to take them out. He sends 2 gunships. They've got guns. He doesn't shoot them from the air. Lets them all pretty well get wiped out. Then he sends 2 TIE fighters. And I don't care all the apologists who want to talk about, but his main objective is this, that, or the other. He states he doesn't want to don't underestimate 1 Jedi, let alone 2 of them or 3. And then what does he do? He underestimates them all. Then we have the tower scene. The zombie stormtroopers. Now, the tower's got doors. Apparently, you want to slow them down? Close all the goddamn fucking doors. Lock them. They're done. They have to then fight their way or melt their way through a shitload of doors to try and get up the tower. You don't need to sacrifice troops. You don't need to turn them into zombies. Or what else do you do if you don't want someone to come through your passageway? You blow it the fuck up. So it just becomes a big collapsed pile of rubble that they just can't get past. It's not like raising a door. These are sort of standard things. We're talking about the bombardment that he tries to give them from his thing while they're riding the dogs in. Can't seem to hit shit. But 5 seconds of bombardment and the whole tower collapses. Hello? You've got your stuff in the ship. Instead of standing around like a dickhead on this platform, everyone in my ship We'll just blast the platform. It collapses. Happy days. Away we go. Slowest moving retreat ever. Okay, they're all loaded. Okay, let's ponce around on the top of this platform, not actually getting on my ship and fucking off. So, yeah, Thrawn is supposed to be really smart. Just really dumb. Really, really dumb. Had ample opportunities to take them out. Just didn't. Now, as regards the stormtroopers that became zombies, regard Thrawn's ship and the whole thing, in my mind, with the red ribbons and all of that, I'm just flashing back to the Red Arm C-3PO and I've knocked the antenna dish off the Millennium Falcon and we're replacing it with a different shape one, just as an avenue to get around whatever licensing deal Disney has with George Lucas and toys. If it's sufficiently changed enough, then it stops being a George Lucas royalty toy and Disney doesn't have to pay him anything, which is why they can make these subtle little changes. Let's have stormtroopers with red ribbons on. Let's change the dish on the Falcon. So anyway, having said that, let's begin with some other things. Clearly lightsabers are meaningless at this point. They're trying to fight their way in. If lightsabers were true to law, people would be just chopped in half. Remember, we saw Maul get chopped in half. But apparently, if you chop the zombie stormtroopers in half, they're not coming back. You can reanimate them, but they're not coming back. So just do that. But that just seems too hard. That seems too hard. So they're fighting these zombies. Closing each door, closing each door. Apparently the zombies can get through the door just as quick as they can close them because they always seem to be fighting them. Meanwhile, Thrawn's taken his goddamn time to get off the damn tower. Don't know why that had to be such a slow procedure. So Morgan's going to have to stay back and sacrifice herself so Thrawn can get going. Fine. So she does that. I'm going to jump ahead of myself here first, though. I'm going to come back to that. Sabine can't even move a damn cup. They're riding towards this thing, and Ahsoka tells her to try and help with the Force. She's like 300 meters out from this door on a dog. And she puts her arm out like she can do something. She can't even move a cup. What's she doing? And then we can see she can't hardly even move her lightsaber. Obviously harkening back to Luke being strung upside down and trying to focus on the Force to pick up his lightsaber to free himself. So we did have that sort of harkening back to that. And it's like, great, you've only just now been able to figure out how to move something with the Force. Next minute, she's given Ezra a goddamn Force push like she's been using the Force all her life. Super trained, super skilled, knows how much Force push to give Ezra to get him to go to this ship 100 miles away. It's not 100 miles away. I'm just obviously being very exaggerating there. And it's like, where did that happen? You only barely learnt how to use a lightsaber. Now you're like Rey, fully conversant in the Force, and up you go. Earlier, blocking some blasts with the lightsaber. Of course, Ahsoka says, put that damn thing away and use your pistols. That makes more sense. Use Ahsoka as a shield. So that was kind of like a little bit annoying. Why didn't those robots at the end, one had Sabine, just throw her off the edge, she's done. Throw Ezra off the edge. You're holding them both. They can't be died. They can't be killed. Just throw them off the edge. In fact, take them and jump off the edge with them. And you're done. Okay, so we're going to ignore that. We're coming to the fight with Ahsoka. Her movements... Surely they could have trained her a little bit better in this. Look, I understand that Morgan is the daughter of so-and-so and so-and-so, and she's going to have a background in martial arts, so she's going to look more fluent. But geez, that just looks so robotic. Anyway, so they're trying all this time to kill Ahsoka. Now they have her surrounded and don't shoot. Just don't shoot. I mean, we're talking Morgan's not even engaged in the fight yet with her. She's holding the sword, the magic sword, but she's not engaged in the fight. You've got to surround her with the stormtroopers. I don't care how good Ahsoka is. when 15 or 20 stormtroopers all shoot her at the same time, she's not deflecting all of them. And some, what about the ones behind her? Like behind the side, the whole thing. She doesn't have Mandalorian armor, but it's very convenient that they all just stood and did nothing so Morgan could go into battle. As soon as Morgan's got one blade destroyed, why not just do the other one? And then, of course, we've got Sabine coming to the rescue. Dun, dun, dun. Watch carefully. There's a Sabine. There's a scene where Sabine is running and there's stormtroopers behind her. They're behind her. And you can see she doesn't have all this Mando armor on her back and everything. Do they shoot? Nah. Just let her keep running. Running towards Ahsoka to help Ahsoka or some shit. I'm just shaking my head the whole time that I'm thinking a writer can't write things smarter than themselves, and all it's doing is showing me that Dave Filoni is not really a good writer, and I'm wondering what he's actually written of length. And is anyone checking his work? Is anyone reading this and saying, Dave, this doesn't make any sense? Because it sure as shit doesn't make sense to me when I watch it. So, we've got Sabine. Can't use a lightsaber. Clearly can't open doors from afar. But as soon as she can use the Force just briefly, suddenly she can do this massive Force push like she's an expert. She's been training her whole life. The temple doors, the temple destruction, Ahsoka being surrounded and no one shooting, Thrawn taking too long to leave, like that was just stupid. The TIE fighters. Now, what did we have? Of course, we had Baylan standing on. Now, I know a lot of people immediately are thinking a Lord of the Rings here, standing on the hand. But remember, the Lord of the Ring hands are basically saying stop. Stop on the statues of Gondor. They're basically saying stop, don't come any further. Almost a Roman salute, but more like a stop as far as I was concerned. But to me, the statue, and look very carefully at the image, you'll see the one to the right of the arm that Baylan is standing on, and our left as we look at it, is another figure there, and the head has been removed. Now, from my understanding, these are statues of the Mortis gods. And of course, the daughter Mortis god has died, and her essence went into went into Ahsoka, and her animal was an owl. So if you're ever wondering why is there owls flying around all the time with Ahsoka, it's in reference or something to the Mortis god daughter. Clearly her statue's been destroyed, just leaves the father and the son. And I guess we're hinting that Baylan is now looking for the Mortis gods. But the statue didn't remind me of Lord of the Rings. It reminded me of the statue devoted to Crazy Horse being built in the USA, that maybe one day it will be finished, where Crazy Horse, the motivation is Crazy Horse is sitting on a horse and he's pointing. The statue, of course, that Baylan is on is pointing. So I figured that was that. I guess Shin has decided that she's going to team up with the bandits. I don't know why they're bandits, because there's no one else in this world, it seems. You have one tribe of bandits, one tribe of turtle people, and 3 night witches. There doesn't seem to be anyone else on this planet, and they all happen to be living in close proximity to each other, which is a very convenient sort of thing. Okay. Then we come to the Ezra thing. So the ship's taking off from the temple. You know your enemy is down there. Instead of having a whole line of stormtroopers raining fire down onto that temple as well to make sure, nah, it's all good. We can just stay away from the opening, which of course gives Ezra a chance to somehow get on that fucking ship, whatever. Takes one out. And of course then Sabine saves him again. So, Ezra can't do anything without Sabine. Just think about that. She was the one that got him onto the ship. The stormtrooper was about to shoot him. Sabine saved him again. So lucky for Sabine. But of course, okay, so he infiltrates the ship. Now there's no explanation how he was able to get a shuttle from Thrawn and take it wherever the fuck. Of course, we do see him getting escorted in. But what did he say on the radio? Clearly they would have known who he was on the radio before they escort him in. Surely you're not going to let him fly an Imperial shuttle into the loading bay of some ship without... Like, that's the same idiocy that Baylan and Shin used to get on that other ship. So I guess this is just a sign how dumb the Republic is. So no explanation how he got this shuttle. But then the most stupid dumbass thing is he comes down the ramp with a Stormtrooper helmet on. Why the fuck does he still have that on? I could understand that he might not have his clothes with him because he probably had to ditch them to put the Stormtrooper gear on. But why is he wearing a helmet? Seriously, why is he wearing a helmet? Did he communicate with anyone? Did he take that helmet off while you're flying? And as you're flying in, just basically say, listen, this is Ezra. I've come back from my exile with the help of Ahsoka and Sabine. Ezra's dead. No, I came back. Let me land, I'll show you. And everyone's expecting Ezra, and he walks down the plank and there's Ezra. Don't walk down looking like a stormtrooper. But then they all point their guns at him. And oh my God, the incompetence of this scene. Hera seems to be the only one that's actually looking like she would shoot him. The guy to Hera's left, if he pulls that trigger, that that laser bolt going from that gun is going to hit the ceiling. Fish fingers on Hera's right. Well, he's not really going to do anything. But have a look at all the people behind Hera. What's the number one rule of firearms? If there's someone in front of you, you don't point a gun. And all those people behind Hera are pointing guns. Ezra is on the same level. If those people behind Hera shoot, guess what? They'll be shooting Hera. It's not like Hera's here and Ezra is like 5 stories up so everyone can just shoot up. It's on the same level. So the people in front are going to get shot by the people behind. Look, I know it's cinematography, but come on, people. Come on, we need a little bit of realism in our fantasy. Shit. So, cliffhanger. Felt more like a mid-season cliffhanger than an end-of-season thing. Look, I know some people will say it doesn't matter, interest wanes because we all know that somehow Palpatine returns and all that bullshit, so it doesn't matter. Look, yes, but you know what? People can still get on board and they can still enjoy it even if they do know the ending. Lots of people went to see the Titanic movie even though they knew clearly the ending of the Titanic. It didn't stop them all going to watch the movie and make James Cameron $1 billion at the time. Rogue One was entertaining and good, but we already knew that the plans get away and ultimately they all probably died. We kind of already knew the ending there. We went to see the sequel series, the prequels, because we were interested to see how Anakin turned into Darth Vader. So we already knew he became Darth Vader, but it was just interesting to see how all of that happened. So the argument that we know the end, so we don't care, well, it's kind of like a moot point. If it's good, we'll watch it. If it's crap, we won't. And yes, we can pick apart some of those other things. But this is just shoddy writing. I can only imagine the Thrawn original author is just crying in his soup about how dumb they've made his smart character look. Yes, we already know Thrawn doesn't succeed at much of anything because we don't hear him in any other thing. And ultimately, I know people were kind of wishing David Filoni would somehow retcon the Disney trilogy, but we're not going there. We're never going there. So the moment that people can just stop fantasizing or stop thinking Disney's ever going to undo their trilogy, it's not going to happen. It's never going to be undone. Everything that Disney does is about discrediting the original stuff George Lucas said. And we even have that line. Ahsoka says it's time. It's time to move on. It's not an accidental line. It was actually said out of place within the dialogue she was having with Sabine at the time. It didn't really fit with their dialogue. There was no reason for her to say it. Sabine hadn't been pining about this, that, or the other, in which case it would make sense to say, listen, just, don't worry about that. It's time to move on. It wasn't like that. It was just an out of the blue thing that didn't fit their dialogue, which means it's been inserted. Again, we had an earlier line of moving on, let it go. That's in the past. We had that earlier in the series and we have it again now. So overall, look, I'm sure it's entertaining if you don't really look that much into it and if you don't go nitpicking. But I've said it before, which is why I didn't really get into Andor, is I don't do stupid. I don't enjoy stupid. And when I see lots of stupid things, I can forgive some characters for being dumb and doing stupid things. But when a character is supposed to be hailed as having plans and plans and plans and being so fantastic, like Thrawn, and then he does the most insane, stupid, dumb things, then I just sit there shaking my head. From an entertainment point of view, if you switch all that off, it was entertaining enough. There's, it's no more entertaining than having a little disco ball in a corner, a little flashy light. Let's just jingle the keys over here. And let's finish off with a nice little Anakin Skywalker Force Ghost member berry. And I'm sure all the Dave Filoni fans will be doing their reaction videos and crying and putting their hands up at their mouths going, oh my God. I'm sure all that fake shit will be going on from them as well. Anyway, that's my long convoluted opinion on the finale of Ahsoka's Season 1. Let me know what you think down below.